It is the Matt Mosley Show. We're off and running. And Scotty Swingler, he's been in meetings. I've been in meetings. We've been doing all our various things this morning to prepare for the big show. 1 to 3 today. All right, 1:10 to 3. We've got people delaying us today. That's okay. All right. But we're rolling, and we're happy to have you come inside today. And we're going to have some interesting Baylor discussions. I believe Cam Stuart will be running by about 2:20 today, 2:15 or 2:20. Cam, you never can tell. Cam has something he's doing at 1:30. That scares me. Because that could certainly go long. But we'll see. Scotty and I, we have a lot to discuss on Baylor. Scotty, I don't feel like I got yesterday a chance to do as much as I wanted to do, like around the rest of the league, around the rest of the NFL. I've got things to share there. And I guess, as much as I hate this, I mean, we got to start taking the Colts seriously. I mean, there are people calling the Indianapolis bleeping Colts the best team in football right now. Huh? Really? Okay, I guess so. I mean, it's kind of like, but again, it's everything from the Hoosier State. You know, I doubted the Indiana Hoosiers and Signetti, and boom, they went up there and put a lump on the head of the great Dan Lanning up there in the land of the duck. So right now, everything coming out of that state is roses, except for Purdue. Purdue is always rough. But is that in Indiana? I feel like it might be. All right, Hoosiers, though, they're number 2 in the country. And they got a guy that's right there up there for the Heisman, up there just right in the midst of the Heisman race, Fernando Mendoza. But these Colts are I mean, it's scary how good they look. And that Shane Steichen, every once in a while, a lot of times we'll say in college football even, these assistants don't always work out. Okay, all right, well, I guess unless they came from, Alabama staff, unless we're talking about Kirby Smart, unless we're talking about Dan Lanning being on Smart staff, unless we're talking about Dillingham being on whatever staffs he was on. I mean, so again, we got to be careful, because a lot of times we'll be like, you can't go hire one of these, because like right now, since everybody's down on Dave Aranda, it's kind of like, these assistants, and same thing in the NFL. You're like, these hot offensive coordinators and defense coordinators aren't always that great. And that's true. But you know what? Some of them have to start somewhere. And Steichen, the coach of the Colts, looks pretty good to me right now. Sirianni, I mean, he was, these guys were all on a staff somewhere. I mean, they were all top, coordinators somewhere, and they got elevated. And Sirianni's won a dang Super Bowl. Steichen has taken Daniel Jones, and turned that team into a juggernaut. You go, well, they got a great running back. Okay. Well, that certainly helps. All right. The Eagles had a great running back. They won a Super Bowl. Colts have a great running back right now, and Jonathan Taylor. And they're monsters. They're just kind of blowing up the rest of the league. Now, before we decide to just hand over the AFC to the Indianapolis Colts, I mean, we might ought to remind folks that the Chiefs seem to be pretty good right now. Chiefs are starting to find their footing. They got Rashee Rice back, fast and furious, the man who lights up freeways just as fast as he lights up opposing defenses. And Rashee Rice came back, immediately scored a touchdown. He's a weapon. You don't want to give them Kelsey and Rashee and Tyquan, and man, you give Mahomes that many weapons, it's scary. All right, so they're pretty good. And last night, thank goodness, Scotty, we had the last of the Monday Night Football dreaded double headers. I mean, my gosh, I'm up. I'm like, why am I watching Monday Night Football at like midnight? What's happening? Why am I at 11 o'clock at night? Why am I watching an NFL game? Oh, West Coast? No, it didn't matter. I mean, you think Seattle hadn't had Monday night games that started at whatever time they're supposed to start, 7 or 7:30 over the years? Sure they have. But last night they decided to do the early game and then stagger it enough where you get to see almost all of the late game. All right. Early game Lions just did. I mean, hey, they're good. They're really good. Best team in the NFC right now? Maybe. Better than the Eagles. I mean, the Packers are pretty good, but the Lions put it right there on Tampa. And when they're going, and you got Jahmyr Gibbs, and you got Amon St. Brown, you got the receiver, you got Goff going, you got a great coach. They're rolling a little bit. So today we got several things for you, including we're going to react to some things that Jerry Jones had to say. And then we got some Trey Wingo, who, maybe we'll just throw Trey right on the show. I mean, he'll come on with us anytime we want him to. Trey's doing a podcast. It seems like a good podcast. And he put out some breaking news today. But before I do that, Scotty, how are you, man? I've had Scotty he's been in meetings. He's jumped in. He's got some Jerry. He's been preparing some Jerry for us. But I would be remiss if I didn't at least check in with Scotty to see how he was doing to start today's program. Scotty, how are things? I mean, you tend to be a little chilly in those studios, which is why you have that same.
We also had a real nice cold front come in a couple nights ago, Matt. So it feels kind of nice in Central Texas right now.
Boy, this is the time when we can turn off. And it's the rare time in Texas where you just turn off the AC, don't need the heater. You just turn it off and you save a little bit of money. We're not very good at this because we're people who love our cars and we love our AC maybe more than any place else in the country. But isn't it nice, Scotty, just kind of turn that thing just like
I had the windows down on my way to work today.
What were you listening to? Were you listening to sports, or did you have some music playing? Did you have some CCM? Do they still have
no
CCM?
No CCM, no, thank you. Shoot, it was a podcast, but I now am drawing blank on which podcast I was listening to.
Doomsday. Let's just call it the Doomsday podcast.
That's right.
Werder and Mosley. Now, Scotty, since I've got you with me, I mean, let's put this thing right up on the screen. Let's put this, Trey Wingo. And there it is. Breaking. I mean, this was a couple of hours ago now. And I kind of, when you see someone you're not used to throwing out something quite like this, you're always like, okay, let's make sure this is Trey. And you're like, yeah, it's Trey.
It's actually him, yeah.
And even 2 hours ago, Scotty, 1.3 million views. Whoa, way to go, Trey. I mean, that by now, that's probably up to about 1.7 million views. I mean, from time to time, Scotty, I'll have a tweet that, it'll jump up there well into the hundreds of thousands, but 1 million, ooh, that's pretty good. That's pretty aggressive. I had a great Scott, and I'm not ever gonna. Someday I'll find it because in the moment it was an incredible joke. Like it landed and it got like well into like 800,000, maybe even more. But it was on January 6th. So as everything was happening at the Capitol, Scotty, I nailed a good. And it somehow involved either the Eagles or the Redskins, the team formerly known as the Redskins. And it landed and it was like massive and it was a good joke. And then of course, as that day unfolded, we had some tragic events occur right at January 6th. So I think I think I had to do one of those deals where later that night I kind of just went up there and deleted the joke. But in the moment, it was like Mosley landed the joke. Okay, so this was good from Trey. And Scotty, you've had a few over the years where I'm sure in that moment you're like, I landed it, and then later you're like, I don't know if I feel great about this joke. But Scotty, put it back up there. I want to read this one. Wingo, according to sources, Cowboys have made inquiries with the Raiders about a potential trade for Max Crosby, double X Crosby. Whoa. Now, Jerry has said repeatedly that, and he was asked today about his trades, and we'll share some of what Jerry had to say, but we need to react to this because, I mean, first of all, Scotty, we need to look at the ramifications for like what that would look like, what it would take to get somebody like Max Crosby, what the Crosby contract looks like. Effectively, I think I was looking earlier and it said you could look at it almost as like a 2 years, 80 million type deal based on how that contract. Yeah, Scotty, while I'm talking about this, take a peek at Crosby's contract, please. But the way it was, I was looking at it that was one way to look at it. Now, again, it's still going to take up a lot of it's a pretty large cap deal that you would be making. And the whole reason you didn't keep Micah, first of all, you thought of the ridiculous reason of, well, we're not that great on the run defense with Micah. Okay, but he's the greatest pass rusher of his generation. It would be a little bit weird to trade him, get all these picks, and then turn around and make another trade and bring back a guy considered one of the best pass rushers in the game. This is the name that I've heard the most often because the names that make the most sense when it comes to top pass rushers are players from bad teams, okay? Like, Myles Garrett from Cincinnati, from Cleveland, or like this guy from the Raiders. Raiders are dreadful. They lost the other day, 31-0. They got no chance, okay? And they just happen to have one of the better pass rushers in the game. So this makes some sense. It would also be weird to get a couple of first-round picks to make this massive trade with the Packers and then turn around and give up a lot to get a pass rusher. You got a lot for a pass rusher. So it's odd to just turn around and give up a ton for the pass rusher. Now, could you get him because he's got a big contract? Could you do it could you get him for a second and a fourth and something else? Or to get a major pass rusher like this, would you have to get, because think about this, Cowboys over the next 2 years, 4 first-round picks, their own 2, and the 2 they picked up, 4 first-round picks. Now, so you do have ammunition. You got 4 of these things. So what do you have to give up Max? What makes sense? Probably you could get him if you pick up the deal, the contract. You could probably get him for a first and a third, I think. Okay, and so then you still have 3 first-round picks left moving into these next 2 drafts. Would you do it? Is it worth it? Well, I mean, it would be humorous for a team that's like, oh, we're really good in the pass rush. We're fine. We can scheme this up, to have to go get somebody this magnitude. The other name I heard was it Simmons? No. What is the guy? There's a defensive lineman that's really good. I think he's from the Titans. There's another name I've heard out there that could be helpful. But I do find this entertaining to be like, Kenny Clark's unbelievable. Look at Kenny Clark. He's incredible. Kenny Clark, man, he's the best. But then they're going to go out and spend draft capital on bringing in a big-time defensive lineman that basically plays Kenny Clark's position. All right, don't tell me one thing. Then now, we haven't heard anybody from the Cowboys confirm that they, and this could be nothing more than just like a, inquiry. Could be, hey, how much would y'all want? How much? What I think the way Jerry wants it to happen, I think Jerry would try to deny this report. I don't know why. The 105.3 had him on today, and he was not asked specifically about it. And maybe because, it would be tampering or something. I don't know. But the Cowboys right now, Jerry's really shooting down most of this trade talk. And the only thing he's been willing to talk about is, hey, I would pick up the phone. We might hear from somebody trying to move somebody, but he's not acting like the Cowboys are going to get desperate and go looking for pass rushers or anything. All right, Scotty, come back in here, please. And what do you like? I mean, again, Max Crosby is a tremendous player. He's hugely productive. Is he as good as Micah Parsons? The answer in my book would be no. He's not that productive, but he's extremely productive player. I think we could call him a top 5 pass rusher in the NFL. If not, right there on the border. But in terms, Scotty, from what you've seen contract-wise, what would they be bringing back? And then what are your thoughts on Max Crosby, the player?
Yeah, his contract, he signed an extension in March. Contract goes through 2029. He is guaranteed $91.5 million. $106.5 million total between next season and 2029. So it's a big deal. I definitely agree he's a top 5 pass rusher in the NFL. And I actually think, I think you could make the case that just in terms of pure pass rusher, he's as good as Micah Parsons. I think the difference is Micah Parsons is kind of a one-of-one player where you can put him at multiple positions along a defense and scheme him all over the field. Crosby is more, he's a defensive end. Like that's what he is. I do agree with you though. It would be strange to make the deal to ship Micah out only to make a deal half a season later to ship Crosby in. I think that would just add to a narrative that says Jerry didn't actually trade Micah. And some of us think this anyway. Jerry didn't trade Micah for any football reason, Matt. He traded Micah over what was being said publicly and his feelings being a certain kind of way.
Yeah. I think to your point, Micah, you're right. He's probably a little more versatile. He can rush from anywhere. He can actually cover. He can play off the ball, really. If you ask him to, he can cover tight ends. I mean, he's extremely versatile. To your point, Max might have a more of a developed array of sort of pass rushing moves.
Yes.
And some counter techniques.
Yes.
And things like that we think of more as a pass rusher. In terms of pure athleticism and pure speed and all of that, you're going to take Micah over Max. But they're both good. They're both great. They both have plenty of athleticism.
We're literally talking about, I would say 2 of the 4 or 5 best, as you said. I mean, it's these 2 guys. It's Hutchinson, And it's the guy in Cincinnati, and it's Myles Garrett. I mean, it's those are kind of and TJ Watt. I would say there's kind of 6 guys right there that are leaps and bounds above everyone else. And Crosby is absolutely in that tier.
Yeah, and it's just amazing to think that you would talk about, oh my gosh, we may be better right away. We're going to be so much better against the run. And then you would turn around and try to swing a deal. Now, Again, what the Cowboys would say is, well, we didn't have to give up nearly as much as what we gained in the Micah trade. So we're still ahead. And we've also added this elite pass rusher. Let me put a percentage on this, since I've kind of watched these things happen so much over the years. And by the way, thank you, Central National Bank. Boy, thank you for what you do. So many exciting things coming up. But thank you for your just constant support of the Mosley Show over the years. There is only about, now again, I preface this with, until the very end, I thought they would find a way to get something done with Micah Parsons, and that thing went the other direction. There's only about a 3% chance of this happening with Max Crosby. The only reason I even give it any chance is not so much of like their desperate need of a pass rusher or, oh, this one player puts them over the top. It's just because in the past 7 years, they did something like this. For years, the trade deadline, there was not, I guess you can go back to, Herschel Walker and all that many years ago, and even Charles Haley. And again, that was a different era. But in the more recent era, they did the deal with Amari. They did that deal when a season was absolutely getting away from them, and they stupidly had entered the season trying to tell people, yeah, we think we can make it work at wide receiver with like Tavon Austin and the Pips. Like there was nobody. Like even he was not a big name. He's like the only guy I can think of. Maybe that was involved in that. They literally tried to roll into a season with just nobody at receiver. Was Randall Cobb? No, I think it was even before Randall Cobb was involved. There was just nobody and it was a crazy deal to do. And they realized, oh my gosh, okay, we have no shot unless we go get a real wide receiver. And they did. They gave him a first round pick. They got Amari Cooper, and he immediately helped them, and they came back and won the division. Now, are the Cowboys one player away? Well, it depends on what you're talking about. I don't think they're one player away from making a serious Super Bowl run. I do think, it's hard not to watch how up and down and unreliable this division is with the likes of the Commanders, Giants, and Eagles, and not think that one major pass rusher couldn't interject some more life into this team. Yeah, they played better against the Commanders, as I think Scotty would be quick to inject here. Commanders had no wide receivers, and they got the quarterback hurt in that game, and so you weren't playing the full tilt Commanders. That said, Russell Wilson and others have just lit this team up. Caleb Williams and the Bears. Several quarterbacks of varying degrees. Bryce Young. Rico Dowdle lit this team up. By the way, on a side note, Scotty, I'm sure you saw that. The Panthers started Chuba Hubbard. Just like, welcome back, Chuba. Never mind that Rico Dowdle has had 2 back-to-back best weeks in the history of this franchise. But Chuba, you can't lose your starting spot, so here you are. Chuba Hubbard in that game the other day, and they beat the godforsaken, was it the Jets? I think they beat the Jets 13-6. Hubbard had 14 carries for 31 yards. Rico had 17 carries for 79 yards and about 4.5 yards a carry. If you do the math on what Chuba Hubbard had, it was about 2.8 yards per carry. So, doesn't make much sense to me. But just staying on this Cowboys thing, let's monitor it. Let's monitor this thing. We'll look at it, and then to start the 2:00 hour, we want to do some Campus Confidential coming up. But to start the 2:00 hour, and we're Cam Stewart's going to join us in the 2. We've got some college stuff to talk about. We got some Baylor stuff. He's going to jump in, and we'll get Cam's thoughts on some things. I saw some headline. Scotty, is Cam worried about like realignment or something? Did you see somebody sent me a Cam headline. I think it was his Locked On Baylor. And now we're worried about a realignment. Not that realignment can't crop up at any point, but apparently we're now worried Baylor may. Oh my gosh. Is it not bad enough? We're worried Baylor may get like relegated. Baylor may not, the next round of realignment, Baylor's going to get left behind because the defense is playing poorly. I am interested in hearing what Cam has to say on that front. But about 2:00 today, we'll dig in and hear from Jerry Jones on the Cowboys because he had some things he said on Trayvon Diggs and about this trade thing that I want to respond to. All right, Scotty, let's get ready. Let's do some Campus Confidential, some of the big stories in college football today. And, man, there's some more firings on the way. There's more firings on the way. Florida State's loading up. They're getting ready to do this. Auburn's getting ready to do it. Florida's already done it. I mean, there are firings coming, okay? Are there any happening in the Big 12? We discuss next.
Bubble wasn't here. I don't know what people would be doing, like making PowerPoints or something. I love that I can sit down and build something the way that I think it should be built.
Bubble turns ideas into fully scalable apps. Try Bubble today.
At Covers & All, we've revolutionized protective solutions with cutting-edge, customizable covers, tarps, and curtains. We deliver premier protection at affordable prices and express shipping. Visit coversandall.com today for the perfect fit, guaranteed to last.
Better sleep, inspired by nature. Your back, hips, and shoulders will fall into perfect alignment in any position, meaning that you get deeper, more comfortable rest. Visit ecoterrabeds.com.
Cleanse your body of accumulated toxins and embark on your wellness journey at your own pace. At Global Healing, we provide premium supplements to help your body heal naturally. Start your healing journey today at globalhealing.com and organichemp.com.
Relax with Hemp Delicious. Organically grown hemp, massively blended with delicious organic herbs, responsibly sourced for their holistic benefits. Each sip offers calming, antioxidant-rich wellness. Brewed just for you. Sip the calm with Hemp Delicious.
Is your Mac running slow? Mac Booster 8 is your all-in-one solution to clean up 20 types of junk files. Get your Mac running like new again with Mac Booster 8. Visit macboost.net today.
I know you're gonna love this Kodak Dot Plus printer. You guys just connect it to your smartphone. I can assure you, you are going to love this printer as much as my family has. You guys have to check it out for yourself.
At Mapiful, we believe in celebrating your journey. Our unique personalized products are designed to boost your confidence. From custom home decor to meaningful gifts, we help you cherish the memories that make you who you are. Visit mapiful.com and start celebrating your story today.
Streamline event and appointment booking with Amelia's sleek, modern, and fully customizable booking forms. WPAmelia.com. That's WPAMELIA.com. Amelia. Nalgene Outdoor has been your trusted companion, fueling adventures and helping protect the planet. We're committed to reducing waste, improving access to clean water, and providing simple, safe, and sustainable products for you and your family. NALGENE.com.
A house is a property, but we live in homes. Home sweet home. Homes where the heart is. We aim to deliver the best home buying and selling experience so you can spend less time real estating and more time living.
whypersonalloans.com. Request a loan anytime. Our partners can offer loans up to $35,000 with varying rates and terms. Review your loan offer with no obligation and decide what works for you. Visit personalloans.com today.
This is what $500,000 in a duffel bag looks like. Actually not real. That's because it's actually prop money. It looks realistic from a distance, but up close you can see it says for motion picture purposes. Visit propmoney.com today to get your money seen or money shot right with Prop Money Inc.
With San, owning iconic furniture no longer requires paying a premium. With over 15,000 satisfied customers worldwide, we've proven that high-quality furniture doesn't have to come with a high price tag. Explore our collection today at san.com.
The U-Like Air 3, launched in 2023, ushers in a new era of sapphire ice cooling technology, offering nearly painless hair reduction in just 3 weeks. That's ULIKE.com. U-Like.
VivoSun's mission is to empower growers with stylish and effective products, making indoor growing accessible and enjoyable for everyone. Visit vivosun.com today and get started making growing plants and vegetables easy and automatic.
All right, Mosley Show continuing on the YouTube presentation. And oh my goodness, people trying to, we got breaking news, folks trying to reach out. Cam Stuart join us later in the program, and we've got some things to discuss going on with the Baylor Bears. And man, I don't want to get to this time of year and turn the page to basketball. I don't want to have to do that. We've had to do it in the past, and I'm not ready to do it. Not ready to give up on this team. But I think a lot of people are fed up, and there's a lot going on right now. And you got to face Cincinnati, that Dave Aranda made out to be honestly, maybe one of the better teams ever constructed in the Big 12. So, and it's in the context of that, Scotty. I mean, that's a team and that's a coach that I think a lot of fans were kind of tired of. The Bearcats, that team didn't seem like it was going anywhere. And dang, they lit a fire to it. Maybe sometimes it's easy as getting a really strong quarterback in the portal or whatever. Although the Bears did that. Bears have a great quarterback. And unfortunately, it's not leading to where everyone had hoped it would lead. Let's do some Campus Confidential. That's when we get Scotty Swingler in here, and he presents some of the bigger stories and headlines across college athletics, including, Scotty, I noticed the Big 12 women are doing like their media day. We got all kinds of excitement going on across the Big 12 in the college landscape. Scotty, where would you like to start today, sir?
Yeah, let's stick with football, Matt. There's a lot to get to. We can get to some Big 12 basketball this week. Media days happening. Pete Souza on his way to Big 12 media days as we speak. Wanted to start with this, Matt. We're talking about coaching carousel going on, and there's a few openings already present. There are multiple openings we suspect will come open soon. I'm going to mention a few of those in a minute. But one of the openings that has come open is the Florida Gators. And our own Robert Griffin III, by our own, I mean those who love Baylor, Robert Griffin III was on the Dan Patrick Show yesterday. Did you see, Matt, something he suggested about who the Florida Gators should call to be their next head coach? Here's the clip.
I want to be a coach today. You would not want this, or do you?
I think I would love to do it. First of all, I love coaching. You know, I've had the opportunity to be in overtime and coach these young athletes in 7-on-7. But to me, it boils down to your head coach can no longer just be a great play caller. They can't just be a guy that went through the rounds and, you know, he knows how to do this. You got to be a CEO. It's why Joey McGuire at Texas Tech is such a great head coach. He hires the right guys. Sheil Wood, the defensive coordinator, and Mac Leftwich as offensive coordinator. These guys are innovative. They're young. They know how to call plays and put their guys in position to be successful. But like you look at Florida, for example, I've said this for years now. I think they should hire Tim Tebow. If Tim Tebow goes into any home in Florida, you're telling me that those parents aren't saying, "Yep, sign me up. I'm coming." You got to put a great staff around him.
But you can't hire somebody that you can't fire, Robert.
They can fire Tim Tebow.
Yeah, I know, but you don't want to do that. It's just like we've seen that, Patrick Ewing at Georgetown, Chris Mullen at St. John's, Clyde Drexler at Houston. You don't want to fire your guy.
Now, Dan, do any of those guys give speeches like Tim Tebow? Do any of those guys motivate like Tim Tebow motivates? I'm not saying Tebow would take the job. I'm great friends with Tim. I don't think he'd take the job. But if I'm Florida, I'm trying to do that because you need that level of exposure.
Have you asked him about the Florida job?
I have.
And what did he say?
His response is, he's not chasing that. He's not that he's not interested at all. He's just not chasing that. And I understand it. You're the favored son. We saw that with Frost at Nebraska. You don't want to have to fire your guy. But I'm just talking about the overall thought process of teams in college football today. You got to give these young men a reason to want to go there because they can go to 7 different schools and still make it to the NFL. Before it was, you go to Bama, you're going to the league. You go to Georgia, you're going to the league, and you're going to win a national championship. It's no longer that way.
So Robert Griffin, Matt, two notes of interest to this Baylor fan sitting here. Wants Tim Tebow to get a shot to be the head coach at Florida, but also at the top of that clip said, I would love to coach. I would love it. To which I say, Mac, what are we doing? Give this guy a call. But anyway, thoughts on any of that? Griffin, Tebow, former players who have I think the overall kind of question for any educated sports fan here is, can someone who has played the game at the highest level step into the current landscape of college football as a head coach with limited to no coaching experience and succeed? I think that's the pushback to Griffin here.
No, I mean, I think there's plenty of pushback. I think I remember, it makes me think back. There was a time when Mike Singletary wanted the Baylor job. And honestly, Mike had been at the time, I'm trying to remember if it was before or after he'd been an NFL head coach. It may have been before. And there was someone like when you talk about motivators, I don't know if RG3 is on the same. I mean, I think he was an unbelievable player, and he's arguably, not even arguably, he's the most important player Baylor's ever had. And like what he did for the program was immeasurable. It's unbelievable. But like, I always wondered, Singletary, it was one of the single greatest motivators ever. I mean, just the way he could command a room and all of that. But he failed miserably as a head coach with the 49ers. And you could say, well, they didn't have the players. Well, you can say whatever. I don't know. I don't know why it didn't work exactly. With Tebow and Florida, it's an interesting one. I think he's so connected to Urban and tied to that era that I think what people are pining away for. I mean, it's an interesting thought. I mean, I don't know exactly how it would go. I agree that Tim, first of all, I just think there's a reason guys like Tim Tebow love doing what he's doing, because he can go and he can give these sermons and speak and be so inspirational and then do a little media and be on the SEC. Like, I don't think most people, even unbelievable players like RG3 and Tim, I don't think they want to put in the time that it would take to do a job like this. And I think Patrick was smart to immediately name those names he named. And I'm not going to get into who's more motivational rather between Patrick Ewing and Drexler and some of these guys, but the college basketball has tried this a lot. Bring back some incredible player from our past and put him in charge of the basketball program. And almost invariably it never works out. And Hardaway has been okay at times, but mainly has just kept Memphis in trouble most of the time. So yeah, I don't, again, those are different situations, but Baylor would not, I don't think Robert would want to do it, honestly. And I think Baylor would not consider something like that. And maybe that's wrong. Maybe you're right, Scotty. Maybe they should. Now, they should absolutely talk to him before they hire their next head coach.
Yeah.
And get some input and get some thoughts from him. I mean, he's got a lot of insight and all of that, but
someone interacted with me on X and mentioned hire Griffin to do for Baylor whatever the heck it is that Andrew Luck does at Stanford. Now, I found that interesting. I don't think Baylor would ever give Griffin that much power because Andrew Luck literally fired a head coach. Like, Andrew Luck is essentially acting as a pseudo AD, except only over the football program.
Report straight to the president. You're right.
Right.
But
you know, and again, we're making some assumptions here, but let's say Baylor's hunting for a coach at some point. If Griffin was eager, and that's the thing, Griffin would have to want to do it because he's got a pretty sweet gig in television right now. But he just said, and the only reason I'm mentioning Griffin is he said in that clip, I want to coach.
Yeah.
Would he be interested in a personnel role? Would it be some kind of a general manager, recruiting, fundraising, where, and I don't know how you'd structure it, but clearly if it scratches an itch for Andrew Luck, who's one of the fiercest competitors we've ever seen in the game, I think giving Griffin some kind of football role.
Yeah.
I mean, at least exploring it with him.
I don't know if Baylor, and maybe he could take it back to where they were getting with Bryles and them. Maybe he could help. Who knows? Baylor's not, I don't know. I don't know if it's the platform he needs. I think he loves a huge platform, and Fox and being on TV gives him a bigger platform. The other thing I have to say, and I would say this to his face, I texted him just the other day, and we were texting back and forth. So I don't want this to be like Mosley's talking out of school. I would say this in front of Robert. He's had too many, like, he also, a thing that would give me issue if I were Baylor, he's had too many missteps, like on social media, and he's quirky as all get out. And then even some of the stuff he'll say on TV, like he's not as solid as like I just don't think Andrew Luck really has a social media presence or really cares about that, other than that person who's really funny that talks about talks about him as like an old Civil War hero or something, or a Civil War captain or whatever it is. Robert is such a big personality, and I love him. I really do. But Robert can step all in it. And Robert's, you sort of need somebody in a role like that. It's not going to lead you down some weird paths. And I'm just telling you, Robert is capable of stepping off into some weird social deals that would also be a factor. Okay. I just want to be upfront about some of that. Now, as far as his love of Baylor and he's highly intelligent. He's I don't question his love for Baylor, but even what he said in that deal does not, like, you think, I promise you, Mack Rhodes does not take that very well. Him extolling the virtues and going, because in praising Joey Maguire like he did, he's wittingly or unwittingly publicly questioning what Mack Rhodes did in not hiring Joey Maguire. Okay, I'm just telling you, that's how Baylor people could take that. Yeah. So I'm just telling you all the things that come through my head, but it's fascinating. It's an interesting. I don't think it's feasible for Florida to hire Tebow, and I don't think it's feasible for Baylor to hire Robert as a head coach. The only person, see, Deion was different. Deion's a Pro Football Hall of Famer who went to an HBCU and got some experience and recruited really well there. But that's a massive personality. Robert's not in Deion's. I mean, Robert's a Heisman Trophy winner. I get it. But he's not in Deion's stratosphere as a football person in personality.
There are very few. Very few.
Correct. Yeah. And Luck is, I find that very interesting that Luck's smart in that he didn't want any part of that coaching gig. See, let me tell you who would consider doing a deal like that. At UCLA, for instance, is Troy Aikman. You go, God, he makes $17, $20 million. How would he ever leave that? Well, I don't know. I'm just telling you, there are certain people I've been around, and Troy's one of them, that at a role like that, they would find interesting. I don't think Robert's one of them. I don't think he would find that. I think sort of being behind the scenes, and think about that. We haven't seen Andrew Luck do much media, right? Like, the reason you bring in Robert is to lift your profile into, like, I mean, he's freaking Robert Griffin. He's not like a behind the scenes type guy. Same thing with Tim Tebow. I mean, this is like Mr. Promise Keeper, huge platform guy. You don't bring him in to, like, hide him. So I don't know. But I enjoy the discussion for sure. What else do we have in Campus Confidential?
Man, just talking about these hot seats, there's speculation rampant now circling many coaches. Mike Norvell at Florida State could be in trouble. Luke Fickell at Wisconsin is a name that is looking like may not stick. Of course, I think there's growing traction here in Central Texas to start asking some questions about Dave Aranda. Well, one of the names, and Baylor saw him this year, Hugh Freeze could be in trouble. And he made an interesting choice yesterday, Matt, when he publicly commented that some support from the athletic director, a public statement of support, quote, would be huge. Matt, I don't know that I've ever seen a head coach publicly acknowledge that he would like to hear a public vote of confidence from his athletic director. By the way, it's been 20 hours approximately since that was reported, and there has been no public show of support from Auburn for Hugh Freeze.
Yeah. No, in fact, I bet they were angry that he tried to put him in that situation, and he's dang near asking to get fired. I mean, you make a statement like that. He made a dumb statement a week or two ago, like kind of ripping some running back who had wanted a red shirt and just, I mean, you can do a lot of things, but when you start basically kneecapping your own players, knowing that those players have friends in that locker room and everything. I think he's on his way out. Now, though, these are the ones we kind of know about. Isn't that weird that Fickell could be as great as he was at Cincinnati, and then also as a coordinator at Ohio State, and like have. I mean, there was nothing to suggest he was going to have this hard of a time, that he'd been this bad. Like, and that's why guys get fired too, because they look around other places, right? Like their fan base and their donors are looking, and they go, wait, Indiana, who's not even close to Wisconsin as a football school. Indiana they went and got the James Madison coach. And they're just killing it. They're going to go to back-to-back playoffs. They're top 5 in the country. They went and hired Signetti, and Fickell can't get us to more than 7 or 8 wins. I don't even know if he's winning at that rate. That one surprises me. Like Freeze having trouble at Auburn but somebody made a good point to me on some of these jobs. Scotty, like at some point you got to wonder if it's like a bad infrastructure or culture around the program, right? Urban won there and Spurrier before him. They won big. They won huge at Florida. So they go get Mullen, who at one point had Dak Prescott in Mississippi State up there like number 1 or number 2 in the country. Not the end of the season, but at one point, one of those seasons, Ole Miss, and by the way, who was coaching Ole Miss back then? Yep, that's right, Hugh Freeze. But, like, there's got to be a reason you keep hiring these guys who are having huge success other places. And for 15 years, Florida's been bad. They tried Mullen. They've now tried Napier. So at some point, you're like, well, is it really the coach? Or is it whoever's trying to support them or put something around them? I mean, the coaches that have come in over the years, they're not that many. Scotty, let's do this real quick. Who's come into programs that had not won in forever and just and fairly quickly had huge success? One happened at Baylor with Art Briles. One happened at Indiana with Signetti. It's not a long list of people that like you go, well, that guy did pretty well at Colorado State. Oh, really? Norvell just got fired. They literally just fired Jay Norvell at Colorado State.
The other two I think of immediately, and it's just because it's regional and I'm very familiar with both of these coaches. That's kind of what Gundy did when he walked into Oklahoma State. And then I would say G.J. Kinney at Texas State. Texas State had never made a bowl game. They're coming off two consecutive 8-win seasons. So those are the two I think of. But you're right. It's a short list. It's very challenging to do.
Yeah. And even Traylor probably needed to get out and get one of these jobs before things started to kind of flatline at UTSA.
Yeah.
You know, he's been really good there, but they're kind of having a down season.
Yeah.
And if you're at one of those places and you're wanting to get to the next place, you got to go ahead and you got to do it. You got to grab one of those jobs because you might not keep doing this, or you might not stay up. You might start to flatline. Even Texas State has had a couple of setbacks this year.
They have.
I don't think I like him. Don't get me wrong. And I mean, I'd love to. I mean, but like, I don't think he's as hot a candidate as he was to start this season. G.J. Kinney.
Yeah, you're probably right.
But yeah, I mean, you know, I sent you something yesterday, Scotty. It's now been 10 years. It was 2015 season, and Baylor was just it was crazy the heights that Briles got Baylor to. I mean, crazy, and like how they were feared and how nobody wanted to play them. in how they had started. After 2009 season, Texas was still good. Starting in 2010, Bears just started putting it on UT. Boom, 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 year after year. And I think what's really funny, and Sark's done a great job, and I know they're having a weird season, but he's done a fine job there. But I think one of the big what ifs ever is, what if after that one season, instead of hiring Charlie Strong, UT would have hired Art? Would what he did at Baylor have worked at this place where he'd have massive money, or would the whole UT, whatever was going on then, have screwed him up? I don't know. I mean, we never have this awful Baylor scandal if he leaves for UT, and I don't know what he would have done there. Again, at the time, we were so happy he stayed. That thing was such a mess at the time that everybody was begging him to stay, and the president of Baylor was we were all out there. I don't know, Scotty, if you went to that bowl game, but we were out there at the whatever that one was, the Fiesta Bowl, and you had the president of the university. Was that 2013 season? I guess it was, like begging everybody to buy Art's new book, like at a pep rally. I mean, it was a strange thing because they were worried to death he was going to go take that team. Can you imagine? Think about that. You got the hottest coach in football at Baylor right down the road from you, but Texas people think they're too good for Baylor, so they went and hired Charlie Strong. Wow. That's rough. And then Tom Herman, and then finally Sark. All right, Scotty, what else do we have, sir? I've enjoyed this. Oh gosh, do we need to break? You have?
Yeah, I was going to say let's get a break in, and then we can get back to it.
All right. Yeah, we'll. That's one of the great things about the YouTube show, the Mosley Show. We can kind of run through breaks sometimes, but we do have unbelievable partners that we need to take care of. And Cam Stuart will join us at some point in the next hour, and we'll talk some college football and Baylor football with him. All coming up next.
If you want the best for your body, you want Ascension Providence, the largest sports and orthopedics group in Central Texas. Using innovative and cutting-edge technology, we're able to understand your body better than ever, delivering treatment with precision. And with our fellowship-trained and board-certified doctors, you'll receive excellent care. Work with a team dedicated to your health, wellness, and safety.
So you can perform
at your best.
Ascension Providence, caring for Texas families for over 120 years.
Drive in the fall at Allen Samuels Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Waco. Huge savings and the best selection in Central Texas. From powerful Ram trucks, Motor Trend's Truck of the Year, to adventure-ready Jeeps and stylish new Dodges, we've got the right ride for you. Upgrading, downsizing, or buying your very first vehicle, Allen Samuels has you covered with friendly service and deals that make driving fun. Don't miss the Drive in the Fall event, only at Allen Samuels.
Come by, let's be friends.
When Central National Bank decided to partner with Baylor women's basketball, we didn't know exactly what that partnership would look like.
What brings you into the bank today?
For the last couple of months, I've been noticing a charge on my account, and I would like to block it.
I see. So you have a charge?
Yes.
And you'd like to block it?
Yes.
I think you should take the charge.
What?
Yeah, I definitely think you should take the charge.
I don't think you understand.
Sometimes you just have to take one for the team.
Is there a manager available?
We love that Coach Colin is all about the team. Once we get the vocabulary down, the sky's the limit.
Central National Bank, proud partner of Baylor Athletics and Baylor women's basketball.
I have Mac Rhodes, director of Baylor Athletics, on the phone. Mac, can you tell Peggy why she should take the charge?
Of course she should take the charge. Wait, are you at the bank again? And who is Peggy?
Football is back, and Underdog is the best place to make picks and win money all season long. Playing on Underdog is easy. Just pick whether your favorite players will go higher or lower on stats like touchdowns, receiving yards, interceptions, and more. Get your picks right, and you could win up to 5,000 times your cash. You can play with as little as $1. Download the app today and sign up with promo code Mosley to score $50 in bonus funds when you play your first $5. That's promo code MOSLEY. Millions of fans have already won billions making picks on Underdog. Will you be next? Underdog, make picks, win money.
Must be 18 plus, 19 plus in Alabama and Nebraska, 19 plus in Colorado for some games, 21 plus in Arizona, Massachusetts, and Virginia, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play-and-get-terms_DFS_.html for details. Offer not valid in Maryland, Michigan, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. In New York, call the 24/7 HOPE line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. That's 467-369.
Well, I got to be honest. I didn't win on my Underdog picks yesterday. Sorry if any of you played along with me. I thought Jared Goff, after he threw that touchdown on the Lions' first drive, I thought I was safe because I said higher than 1.5. It was his only passing touchdown. But I'm playing Underdog again tonight. NBA basketball. Opening games are this evening, and there's some really good options on Underdog. Here's what I picked. Maybe you can pick along with me. Listen, the best player in basketball is back tonight, and LeBron James is out hurt. So you know Luka Doncic is going to pop off. I've got him with higher than 47.5 points, plus rebounds, plus assists. He is a stat stuffer. I think that's a given. Jimmy Butler, you can play tonight higher than half a three-pointer made. Now, I know the Warriors have some great options shooting the three ball. Jimmy's going to take at least 3 or 4 threes, isn't he? He's going to hit one. So I've got Jimmy with higher than half. And then Kevin Durant makes his Houston Rockets debut. And remember, it's against the Oklahoma City Thunder at their place while they hang a championship banner. You know what that means? Kevin Durant's got something to prove tonight. I've got him with higher than 32.5 points, plus rebounds, plus assists. And remember, if you do what I do, you can play this with a flex option, which means if 2 of the 3 are correct, you win money. If all 3 are correct, you just win more money. That's an option you have when you play with Underdog. Use the promo code Mosley, and they will give you bonus cash to play with just for putting in $5. It's a great deal. We would love for you to join us on Underdog. It helps us. Maybe it'll be fun for you. Maybe it'll get you into the spirit of NBA basketball season tonight. Mosley, not just a promo code, but a man.
That's right. Allegedly. I think we can confirm. Scotty, boy, good session. Good Campus Confidential. Well, look, Cam can join us whenever. I mean, you know, I for about a year, he was my sidekick, co-host, cohort at over at ESPN Central Texas. He just kind of showed up when he wanted to. Scotty, it was just kind of like, he just from day to day, it's just like, well, Cam going to be with, or he'd be like, I'll go to a golf tournament. Guys, I got a wedding. Well, when's the wedding? Well, it's Friday, but I got to leave on Tuesday. I'm going to need to miss 4 days of work for this wedding. Okay. Sounds good. But when he's there, he's like the guy's fun to be around. He's fun. He's got some good things to share. We'll get some thoughts. I did want to, and Scotty, let's keep, because you never know when he might show up. Well, we've got this Jerry Jones. We may play some of this in a second, but I had one more campus thing I wanted to read to you. Scotty, do you think Scott Satterfield? Do you think Scott Satterfield, the coach for Cincinnati? Do you think he thinks the Baylor defense is pretty good? Do you think he's watched some film and he's decided that old Baylor line, the Baylor defense, is pretty solid? Do you think he's found some things that he likes?
You know, I saw a statistic that Baylor is ranked 2 spots below 0-7 UMass in terms of defensive stop rate. So no matter what a coach says publicly, I suspect they know better. But Chris Kleiman was trying to convince people at a press conference a few weeks ago that Baylor had a good defense. So it wouldn't surprise me what Satterfield said. But I think any coach watching this defense on film knows you can expose them.
All right. I wanted to read this to you. I thought you would appreciate this. And by the way, just a heads up, Cam Cam got in there.
Cam is here.
Cam knows how to navigate these things.
This is why it's good we're in the network, you know.
I'm just talking about you. Just bragging about like how we had such good times together. Although you did take off some time. You were a man who liked a good off day.
Yeah, I'm a man with work-life balance, I guess, is how I'm going to put it.
You loved a good wedding. You loved a good golf tournament.
Man, do I have something for you, Mosley? This weekend kicks off 4 weekends in a row of weddings for me.
And you're not in any of them.
Not this one. No, not in this stretch. I was in one recently, but not in this stretch, no.
See, I don't think you should. If they don't care enough to have you be in the wedding, now how much are you having to travel on these?
It's a bit of travel.
Travel for the wedding you haven't been invited to be in. Now, some of these may be smaller ones, and so you barely missed the cut, right? They had some brothers involved or brothers.
Yeah.
Well, I don't feel like you should have to travel that much to these weddings that you're not in.
Well, see, one of them is a big one in that it's my fiance's sister that's getting married. So I'm not enough of it.
You need to be in it.
But I gotta be there. Yeah, I gotta.
Wow, she just beat Grace.
Yeah,
to the punch a little bit. Okay, do you like this brother-in-law?
Yeah.
I mean, you can't say that you don't.
Yeah, right. What would that say about me? Yeah.
National YouTube. Yeah. But yeah, that's good. What's this sister's name?
This is Caroline. That's getting married.
Caroline's marrying. What's the guy's name?
Alan. I don't even know if I should be saying this. I don't know. People could.
Will Jay Billis be at the wedding? Will Jay Billis be there?
That is a good question. I don't know if he's going to make the cut. That is a family friend. Don't know if he makes the cut.
The Billustrator.
Yeah.
All right. I was about to read this, so I'm going to go ahead and do this anyway, Cam. I want you to hear this. Right. This was Scott Satterfield earlier today on Baylor's defense. Okay. And obviously Baylor's defense really seems to be improving. He said, and I love that. This is when you're trying a little too hard to say something kind. I know their defense is very good. Sorry. Okay.
It's got the wrong week.
Just the wrong season. I mean, I am trying to watch the film and see how Baylor is giving up so many yards to opposing teams. They are in every game, literally. A lead is never good enough versus Baylor with the way they can move and score the ball. This is a very good and scary team. Ooh.
Get real spooked.
But what does that mean? I know their defense is very good. How can a coach say, I mean, it's fine to lie and try to say nice things and all that, but how can you say as a coach, I'm trying to see how they're giving up so many yards? It's like, did they even lay a hand on the 55-yard touchdown run the other day? Did anybody touch the guy?
No. First off, you're watching the film. Shouldn't that be, as a head coach, shouldn't that be how you figure out how they're giving up so many yards? And second, I don't know, he can't figure out why they're giving up so many yards, but our coach, Baylor's coach, will tell you every week why they gave up so many yards. He'll break it down why they're giving up so many yards. That's awfully nice of Scott to say, I guess.
Did you know that his win percentage, somebody did the math on this, and Satterfield's win percentage when he doesn't wear his visor is actually ahead of Nick Saban's career record. And then when he wears his visor, he's just kind of an, decent, a little bit above average coach. But when he goes visorless, so it's something to watch. What's the line? By the way, I forgot to look at that today.
I think it was 4.
That's amazing. They're riding high. They have one of the hottest quarterbacks in the country.
Oh, yeah.
And and they're only favored at home to beat the old Bears by 4 points. Are you telling me? Surely
4.5.
right.
4.5.
4.5 points. That doesn't. I mean, I don't know. I know Vegas understands things, but that doesn't make a ton of sense to me. I mean, they should be favored by 7.5 to 8 points against this Baylor team. A Baylor team that, by the way, should have gotten beat handily the other day. I did find it funny that my old radio cohort, Brian Estridge, was doing the TCU radio, and with about 4.5 minutes left in that one, he was questioning Dave Aranda for calling timeouts. What's he doing? What's he doing here? And then the Bears had the ball with 27 seconds left, down 42-36. Can we spend just a moment mourning the Heisman campaign that never quite got off the ground? By the way, I wasted a tweet. I got myself in all kinds of problems trying to, in my own twisted mind, I was trying to help Baylor PR, and I ended up shooting myself in the foot. I was trying to kind of be like, Dave's going to prevent this, his ridiculous view of the media. And somehow by doing that, I got everybody at Baylor mad at me. And I didn't even mean it like that. But anyway,
I'm stuck.
Let's mourn the death of Sawyer Robertson's Heisman campaign. I think we can officially say it's over. And there were some fun moments along the way. It didn't ever quite take off, but it died in Fort Worth Saturday, and I hate that because we continue to love Sawyer.
Yeah, and what's the real tragedy is they were starting to heed your advice a little bit. I think last week was the first time we ever saw him at the podium, not after a game, and even after the game, we haven't seen him that much overall in his career. But they were finally starting to do it, Matt, and it all comes tumbling down, man. It's too bad. It really is too bad. That would have been a nice feather in the cap for this season.
Yeah, Dave found himself, not to get too far down this path, but on a Dallas-Fort Worth radio station the other day. Thursday, and you could just kind of sense that it was Dave probably was like, who am I on with? What am I doing? Right. And the guys that were doing the interview were kind of like, well, it was the Ticket, very famous radio station in Dallas. And they put the interview at 6:40. The show ends at 7:00. That's probably not it was just an odd. And I was listening to it. It was fun. He did a good job. Dave's good in media. He says interesting things. It's just he just doesn't have any desire to do any of it. And I would say one of the things that hurts Dave is that in SEC, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, right? Napier or Freeze. It doesn't matter if you're good at media or bad at media. If you lose, you're going to get fired. Other places around the country, if you're actually good at media and you try to help reporters and stuff, it can actually help you. It can help you. I would say Dave doesn't give a rip about, any of that. And so here Dave sits 4-3. It could get to 4-4. And the problem is all these teams that are coming up that we used to think easy win, are kind of trending in the right direction. Even UCF to a tiny extent. Mm-hmm. University of Houston for sure.
Yeah.
University of Houston's sitting there at 6-1 right now. One loss in conference.
To Tech. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, they lost to Tech at home. That's not a bad loss. I don't know, Cam. It's just not. I do caution people because I'm sure you were getting tweets in contact like he's going to be out, or does this mean Dave's going to be out? If you don't fire somebody when they go 3-9, 1-7 at home, I don't think we can come on these shows and go, he's for sure done. He's for sure fired if he doesn't do this.
Yeah.
That's what I always go back to.
And definitely not during the season. That is one thing I've had to explain to some people of look, I know it's not good right now. I understand that, but they're absolutely not going to do it during the season. And you're right. And look, they had a nice bounce back last year, but I think we all thought at the end of 23, that was it. It felt like there was no coming back from that whatsoever. And came back from that, and did okay. But yeah, you talk about the schedule. It's funny, like before the season, it looked so front loaded, right? With Auburn and SMU and Arizona State and Kansas State.
Yeah.
And in the bye week, I looked at it, and their next six opponents after the bye week, 4 of them were in the top 40 or 35 defensively in the nation. And TCU was not one of them. Okay. So you've got, after this week, you've got 4 in a row. So you talk about UCF. Yeah, they're not a good team. Like Baylor should beat them, but they're a top 35 defense in America. Like that, and Baylor had not faced but one of those before the bye week, and that was Auburn. That was it. And they did okay against Auburn offensively. But you're running into a couple of buzzsaws defensively, and to your point, teams that are going good right now. Cincinnati, that's 5 wins in a row. If I'm not mistaken, I think they only lost to Nebraska in week 1 of the season. Matt Rule's boys, who of course wouldn't be able to beat them now because Cincinnati's ranked. And then, Houston trending in the right direction for sure. UCF is coming off a 32-point victory. Granted, it was against West Virginia, but Utah is, I think, still a talented team, even though they just took one on the chin to BYU. So yeah, this is not easy, to the point where, Matt, I'm thinking, are we nailed on to a bowl game here? Are we nailed on to 2 more wins? I hope so, but I think that doubt creeps in after a game like last weekend.
I think a lot of fans don't hope so. I think they're clinging to anything that causes a change.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I mean, even the comeback, I still have a hard time, and I'm like you. I mean, after the K-State thing, it was a great win, and your kicker makes a huge clutch kick, and I'm excited. I'm pumped up, and I heard from a lot of people who love Baylor. These are not people who are just like idiot fans. These are people who've supported and loved Baylor for a long time. Were not that excited that they came back and won that game, and it's just because they don't think this particular head coach is that inspiring. I was trying to find. Oh, here it is. Okay, so in every week, ESPN puts out the stop rate. Don't you love a good stop rate?
Love a good stop rate.
And stop rate is a little bit more of an advanced defensive metric than just yards allowed or points allowed, and it really takes into effect constant drives, how many stops, hence the percentage, how many yards you're giving up, how many points you're giving up per possession. There's a lot that go into that. Kim, what would you, out of 136 of these teams, 136 of these teams, where do the old Bears check in?
I'm going to give you 2 guesses. My first, and that I'm praying, is they're ahead of UMass. And I'm going to guess them out of 136. I'm going to put their stop rate at 118th.
You swear you didn't look.
Oh, no, I did not. Is that it? That is on. If I had a Bible here, I would do it.
119th.
Oh,
is what Baylor is. Oh, by the way, UMass is 117 in the country.
Oh no.
This is it's okay. Just a quick explanation. The percentage of a defense's drives that end in punts, turnovers, or a turnover on downs. Defensive coordinators look at this. Stop rate is a simple metric, but can offer a good reflection of a defense's effectiveness. So it's fair. Like last season, Ohio State was number 1, 78.5% against FBS opponents over its 16-game schedule. Okay, so that number is a great number. Ohio State this year, their stop rate, 84.2%. They're monsters. They're monsters. Let me tell you who else is great at stop rate. OU, Texas, and Texas Tech. Texas Tech is number 4 in the country in stop rate, even with that loss against Arizona State, because it's not like the defense let them down in that game. They had a frantic comeback at the end to take the lead, and then they lose that game. By the way, did you hear Scotty talking about I guess there was and we had an interesting discussion on, like, would there be any role? It was based for RG3 in this program, based on the fact that, like, Andrew Luck, who went one pick ahead of him, they were kind of tied together. RG3 won the Heisman. Andrew Luck takes over at Stanford. Mac or nobody at Baylor is ever going to allow somebody to have that much power, right? Like a player of RG3. But this was based on RG3 saying he thinks Florida should hire Tim Tebow as its coach. I don't know what that would look like. Would it be more fun than Billy Napier? Sure. And I think it brought up a discussion like, could somebody like an RG3, step in and energize the Baylor program? That doesn't seem feasible, and we don't have to talk about RG3 as the Baylor coach. But, like, what would something like that look like, though, Cam? Like an RG3 level monster personality, intellect, the whole thing. And again, I made the argument that the problem with RG3 is that he's always wandering off into social media problems. And he's not. I love him, but he's not exactly got it locked down as much as Andrew Luck does. I'll just put it that way.
Yeah,
but, like, could some if Baylor had somebody like that, could it make some kind of huge major difference? And not to even say that Andrew Luck is that'll have to play out, before we decide if Andrew Luck is some kind of great answer at Stanford.
Yeah, and the thing with that too, like the difference, I guess, between Luck and RG3 and Tim Tebow and some of these other guys is, like, Luck did that one national championship game where he did a little desk work, but other than that, he was not media. Like, he comes from a lineage like of his dad, of coach, athletic director type. And so what we had heard was that Andrew Luck wanted kind of that kind of job, right? That kind of football administrative job, hands-on kind of stuff, rather than, being an analyst. Like, he didn't really want to do that. RG3 and Tim Tebow become analysts, and I guess, for lack of a better term, become kind of, not a mascot, but more of a front-facing kind of person for whatever program they're at. So could RG3 be to Baylor what Matthew McConaughey is to Texas? This is sort of undefined role where he's on the sidelines and talking to recruits and being a front-facing recruiter for the university and for the football program. Maybe. Obviously, that's a little bit difference in star power, but I just don't know if RG's looking for an administrative role. Like, Luck is the GM there and almost treating it like an NFL GM. And that's what's kind of weird, is that position in general in college football is still undefined as to whether you're doing, I know, like, Duke in basketball is having Jason Tatum as one of their guys at the top basketball.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but he's got a job. Like, he's working on something.
Well,
are you one of these recruiters, or are you someone who's a face of the program?
You can see how it can backfire. And I think that's why that AD didn't want Belichick in there. And he's turned out to be totally right. Bubba Cunningham. First of all, ADs don't want to turn over. It's like, wait, what are we getting paid $2, $3, $4 million a year to do if we're turning over our whole football program to somebody that reports to the president? I don't think this flies at Baylor. It's very interesting that it's happened at Stanford, though, because Stanford is a private school, high academic school that had fallen on hard times. I would say there it seems to be maybe trending in the right direction, whereas UNC was a disaster. Let's hand our football program over to Mike Lombardi, who I've known forever, and I like Mike, but he is a hated man in NFL circles for a lot of reasons. Partly because he's kind of a slithery little character.
Yes,
he's always kind of going around backbiting folks and all that. But he hitched his wagon to Belichick. And then they tried to brand this thing as their 33rd team. And, that thing's been a disaster. So anyway, Baylor will not do anything like this. I guess all this leads to this next question. Like, everybody, a lot of Baylor people would love to see a new coach and fire this guy, get him out of here. The next question becomes, well, who do you go hire? I know on Locked On Baylor, which you do a great job on, but you mentioned at one point James Franklin. Well, the problem is James Franklin has become the hottest name of any of these people. Like, James Franklin can have any job he wants, right? Florida, Auburn, anything out there. James Franklin can basically have, it's almost like Penn State's going to be like, wait, should we
reconsider here? Yeah.
Why don't we fire this guy everybody else wants? But that's the way it works. Texas Tech once fired a football coach, and he got hired to coach an NFL team like in the same cycle.
It was bizarre.
Like, these things are kind of bizarre how they happen. Like, I don't know. There's not like a great, it's like one thing to want a rate. And that's why I brought up that stop rate. It is embarrassing. And I'm sorry. I know it's shocking that I didn't complete that thought, but it's embarrassing. That's the biggest embarrassing thing of the whole Aranda experiment is you said, you got to go save yourself. You save our program and save your job moving forward. And we're going to let you own this side of the ball because you are a defensive savant. And Baylor is horrific on defense.
Yeah.
Horrible. Yeah. So, there's enough evidence on defense. Maybe let's say you don't want to fire him. He should take his own play calling duties away from himself. There's plenty of evidence for that.
Yeah.
They're so bad on defense, other schools would fire their defensive coordinator. That's how bad they are on defense right now. So, but again, this all comes back to, is there anybody better? And you go, well, surely there has to be somebody better. But like right now, GJ Kinney doesn't quite feel as exciting as it did. Traylor at UTSA doesn't really feel that exciting. Like, I don't know who you go hire. We can throw a bunch of people out, I guess, but nothing seems real exciting to me right now.
Yeah, you'll think the South Florida guy whose name is escaping me now. I've talked about him before.
Golish.
Golish. If this was 2 years ago, you might have been able to get Rhett Lashley to come down the road in the same circumstances. But now I don't know if you can with SMU being an ACC team, although I don't know. Again, they're not seeing much of the money, are they, for the next couple of years? The Franklin thing is interesting in that you wonder if the Floridas and the Auburns get a little spooked by, the fact that he got fired because he didn't win the big game. And if you have the expectations that an Auburn fan base or a Florida fan base has, most of them aren't thinking, hey, we're pretty mediocre right now. We need to get better than that. And James Franklin does that. Most of them are thinking, well, if this guy can't win the big one, then we're just playing for the next coach. But where the Franklin one gets really intriguing for Baylor fans is let's just play out that scenario. Like Florida and Auburn say, no, he's not big time enough for us for whatever reason. And then it comes down to Baylor and Oklahoma State. Which of those looks more attractive right now? I think with how bad Oklahoma State has been this year, I think that race is closer than people think.
Well, knowing what their giving has been in the past, and knowing people that have been maybe on the sidelines, what they might be able to do. Now, they used to have a benefactor that was massive, who is obviously, Boone Pickens is no longer with us. And I don't know how that works with his family. I don't even know who's in charge of all that now, like the Boone Pickens money. But you're right. It's not, I don't think those two are that far away from each other. I just think, and boy, Mac would have, you talk about a hire he'd have to get right because, oh my gosh, right now, basketball is, Scott's a made man, because he won a national title, and we all love him, and we're glad he stayed. But that program's kind of flatlining right now, and they hadn't been a Sweet 16, since they won the championship. They haven't been able to really build on that championship. So that's a bummer. And these other programs, we don't really think about or talk about that much. I mean, Nikki's doing fine, but Mac's this is, I think that there are people angry enough about this football program that don't want Mac to be the one to make this next hire.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard for me to think, like, he's viewed across the country at such an esteemed place that he's the head of the CFP. Like, he's the guy. Like, when they do their rankings, he's going to be the guy. Now, that said, Jeff Long was that guy several years ago when he was at Arkansas, and he was fired not long after that. But I think people right now it's not the last thing. Aranda was alone in all the vitriol was directed all at Dave. I'm sensing Mac's getting more of his share right now than
probably. And it still feels eerily similar to 2 years ago, Matt. Like, I think there were some people thinking that at the end of 23, basketball, maybe not as much in terms of the flatlining, but we've certainly seen that the year and a half since, almost 2 years since. Women's basketball, same thing. You're like, did he really make the right hire here? Can I throw out a crazy name for coach, not for AD? Can I throw out a crazy name for you?
Yeah.
And I don't want this to get you in trouble because I don't know anything, as you well know. Does Gary Patterson want to coach again? Like, how bad does he want to coach again?
He's already got half of his staff on the Baylor staff right now.
He knows the place well, obviously. Used to work here, I would say I've seen crazier things, but I don't know if I have.
Although, it's funny to bring up, and I'd be back in the.
You would be looking, man. You'd put us all out of jobs. Cornering the market.
Mosley's running. But when you've had as big of a struggle as you've had for 6 years with a defensive head coach, I think they'd be reluctant to hire another huge defensive guru type. I love the idea, and it would excite me, but I think, how like it's getting more comfortable for even Baylor people to discuss Art Briles again because it's been so long.
Yep.
And he's coming back to town to do by the way,
Hall of Fame thing.
They asked me, they were like, would you consider, I was like, no, leave me. Maybe, I don't know who will moderate that, but it'll be interesting to see. But, J-Mo's going nowhere near that thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's the Texas Sports Hall of Fame. Is doing that deal. You're right. And then, there's never been a time at Baylor where they're so desperate to have somebody like Art back. And it's obviously never going to be Art,
right,
and it's not going to be Kendall.
Right.
But if you could, why does Liberty must be having a bad season because that coach is not talked about right now? Jamie something or something, huh?
Chadwell.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird how he just stopped, and they must be having a bad season. I haven't paid any attention to them.
That's what happens.
But that's what Baylor people, because when times are tough and rough, you want to go back to better times. You want to go back to fun times. And it's the whole thing. They put that Texas Sports Hall of Fame, didn't even advertise that deal. That thing sold out within minutes. This whole fan base is still in love with Art more than Matt Rule or Aranda or any of these people. And again, I've not tried to, obviously I know Art and still talk to him, but I'm always a little bit amazed at how deep the attachment still is. And but I don't know who's like that because you can't hire him.
Yeah.
And I don't know who it is. I don't know who it is. And right now Franklin is a hot name, but he's not coming here. Like literally Auburn will crawl. They will crawl to wherever he's holed up right now.
They'll have the money.
Yeah.
They will have the money to dish that out. Yeah. They'll have another neutral. They'll move another game to a neutral site like they did with Baylor, so that they could pay James Franklin a little.
Is there
bit
just no way to? I mean, he wouldn't fit the mission or whatever. But yeah, the guy I love is this Dillingham. Oh, I'm in love with that guy. That's what Baylor people want. Like they're like, could we? But he's not going to fit whatever we need to touch the boxes for all the Sunday school. I get all but he's the wild man that Baylor people crave.
Oh yeah,
that's the guy.
Like from a personality standpoint, that's what fans want 100%. And the resume is still pretty good. And I find it interesting. One last, kind of thought from me on this is I don't know who this guy is in this cycle, but I think more than ever before, I don't think college teams are going to be afraid to go after the old guy. Right? Like Willie Fritz, what he's doing at Houston, like that's working. Curt Cignetti, what he's doing at Indiana is working. Like it has never worked in the history of that program the way it is working right now. So that becomes interesting when it comes to a name maybe like Traylor, where you're like, yeah, it's been a couple of years since the real success, but looking at the FCS level, which has worked, right? Cignetti went from there, and James Madison and Kleiman had some success at Kansas State. I know they all want him out. So that becomes an interesting potential play for Baylor, both the FCS and the old guy that would have been forgotten 5 years ago.
I can't believe, and maybe he's just waiting for us to wrap up, but any mention of Cignetti or Indiana can get Scotty. I'm a little shocked Scotty didn't come up. He ordered himself an Indiana Hoosiers t-shirt, the whole thing. Yeah.
Scotty. At least get the pants, the warm-up pants.
He has bandwagoned this thing
man.
In a big way. It's amazing that nobody even cares about the basketball program anymore. Just
it's funny. I saw
football school.
I saw a headline the other day that said it was something about Indiana. Can they win a national championship? And my first thought was like, no, they've been in the wilderness for years now. Are we going to play this game again? What did IU get? A couple of projected NBA first round picks? And I'm like, oh no, they're talking about football. And they can win a national championship. Like they're that good. It's crazy, Mosley. That is so the two worst programs of probably both of our lifetimes is Vanderbilt and Indiana in the Power Four, and they're both playoff teams right now. That's crazy.
Yeah, I just don't. I mean, I don't know. I don't know why it works so great there. But it would think about how we've been trained. You have to have Texas ties. You got to have recruiting ties. And I think that's all Rule got around that by hiring Joey and David and all the who's the other one he hired? He hired three. Sean Bell. He made all those hires. Oh, there'll be people from Baylor. See, Houston's having a great year. There'll be some Sean Bell people.
Yeah. Especially if Spavital's taking a job somewhere else, there'll be some Sean Bell people.
Some Sean Bell people would come
Might
up.
be some Mark Bell people at this point.
I'd like to be on the record. I am a Sean Bell person. Right here.
Get him.
That's the China Spring. Yeah, we can't. He's all Baylored up. He's advocated for RG3 and Sean Bell. I think he's also thinking maybe Singletary will get in the mix. I still, when I see Mike, I'm just like, I'm way more in awe of him than anybody. That is,
how can you not be?
What a legend. Cam, thank you, buddy. We appreciate it, and good stuff. Good luck at all these weddings coming up.
Thank you.
But keep me in mind. I'd like to at least be on the. I'd like to at least score the invitation, perhaps, to a young
putting a list together here in the next couple of months.
Be thinking about kind of what all I've meant to you.
Okay, it'll be in the note for sure.
All right. Okay. Thank you, Cam.
Thank you.
There he goes, Cam Stuart. joining us on the Matt Mosley Show. And I'll tell you what, we need to break for a second, and we'll wrap things up. And I got one last thing for Scotty to share. That's next.
Bubble wasn't here. I don't know what people would be doing, like making PowerPoints or something. I love that I can sit down and build something the way that I think it should be built.
Bubble turns ideas into fully scalable apps. Try Bubble today.
At Covers & All, we've revolutionized protective solutions with cutting-edge, customizable covers, tarps, and curtains. We deliver premier protection at affordable prices and express shipping. Visit coversandall.com today for the perfect fit, guaranteed to last.
Better sleep, inspired by nature. Your back, hips, and shoulders will fall into perfect alignment in any position, meaning that you get deeper, more comfortable rest. Visit ecoterrabeds.com.
Cleanse your body of accumulated toxins and embark on your wellness journey at your own pace. At Global Healing, we provide premium supplements to help your body heal naturally. Start your healing journey today at globalhealing.com and organichemp.com.
Relax with Hemp Delicious. Organically grown hemp, massively blended with delicious organic herbs, responsibly sourced for their holistic benefits. Each sip offers calming, antioxidant-rich wellness. Brewed just for you. Sip the calm with Hemp Delicious.
Is your Mac running slow? Mac Booster 8 is your all-in-one solution to clean up 20 types of junk files. Get your Mac running like new again with Mac Booster 8. Visit macboost.net today.
I know you're gonna love this Kodak Dot Plus printer. You guys just connect it to your smartphone. I can assure you, you are going to love this printer as much as my family has. You guys have to check it out for yourself.
At Mapiful, we believe in celebrating your journey. Our unique personalized products are designed to boost your confidence. From custom home decor to meaningful gifts, we help you cherish the memories that make you who you are. Visit mapiful.com and start celebrating your story today.
Streamline event and appointment booking with Amelia's sleek, modern, and fully customizable booking forms. WPAmelia.com. That's WPAMELIA.com. Amelia. Nalgene Outdoor has been your trusted companion, fueling adventures and helping protect the planet. We're committed to reducing waste, improving access to clean water, and providing simple, safe, and sustainable products for you and your family. NALGENE.com.
A house is a property, but we live in homes. Home sweet home. Home's where the heart is. We aim to deliver the best home buying and selling experience so you can spend less time real estating and more time living.
whypersonalloans.com. Request a loan anytime. Our partners can offer loans up to $35,000 with varying rates and terms. Review your loan offer with no obligation and decide what works for you. Visit personalloans.com today.
This is what $500,000 in a duffel bag looks like. Actually not real. That's because it's actually prop money. It looks realistic from a distance, but up close you can see it says for motion picture purposes. Visit propmoney.com today to get your money seen or money shot right with Prop Money Inc.
With Son, owning iconic furniture no longer requires paying a premium. With over 15,000 satisfied customers worldwide, we've proven that high-quality furniture doesn't have to come with a high price tag. Explore our collection today at san.com.
The U-Like Air 3, launched in 2023, ushers in a new era of sapphire ice cooling technology, offering nearly painless hair reduction in just 3 weeks. That's ULIKE.com. U-Like.
VivoSun's mission is to empower growers with stylish and effective products, making indoor growing accessible and enjoyable for everyone. Visit vivosun.com today and get started making growing plants and vegetables easy and automatic.
It is the Mosley Show, rolling on this Tuesday, and appreciate everybody who's been a part of this. Boy, Brazos Landing, the landing. Love going over there. We'll be over there soon. And chicken fried steak would be great this evening. That harvest salad, when they got the one that they have they have some of those candied walnuts, pecans, and there's some kind of honey drizzled, and then they got some strawberries. What a great place it is. Love the seafood. Love the steaks. Love some of that queso over there. It's great. I watch a game this evening or whatever. And Scotty, I didn't want to mention that was something to behold last night. That's why you watch baseball. That's why you watch postseason baseball. 2 on, 1 out. George Springer comes up. Blue Jays fans nervous as all get out. They're down 3-1. It's getting late in the game. Seattle looking to go to the World Series for the first time. And George Springer, the former Astros great, 3-run bomb. The reactions, the buildup, the moments. I don't know, man. For my money, baseball, postseason baseball delivers on those moments really unlike any other sport. And it was fascinating to watch. And the Blue Jays find a way. They'll go face the Dodgers. Dodgers have been resting. They'll start that thing up on the 24th. I believe that's this coming Friday. And then the Dodgers will win that World Series and we'll move on. Dodgers trying to be the first team in a long time to go back-to-back World Series. Got to go back to some of those great Joe Torre Yankees team to even find that. So anyway, that was what was going on. Thanks to Cam. Scotty, thanks to you. Been a good day. Been a solid day talking Cowboys. Let's save. I do like that Jerry that we had from today, so let's save that because Scotty had some great audio that we were not able to share with you. We'll do that tomorrow. We'll do that on the bonus show. We're going to start providing you with bonus shows. What's that called, Scotty? Cameo or whoever does that. The people will pay for behind-the-scenes secret audio. All right. And thank you to Central National Bank, CNB, our presenting sponsor, and all our fine sponsors. Thank you, Alan Samuels. Oh, my gosh, those 1,500 trucks. The savings on those are beyond belief. Over $10,000 is what you could save right now. And even the 0% financing for the first 36 months. What are you talking about? 48 months, actually. Pretty amazing. We'll have more information on that moving forward. It is the Matt Mosley Show. It is the Rogue Media Network. We'll see you tomorrow at 1 o'clock.